Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the MMA Huddle. You are here with myself and Will, and it's great to be back, coming off a UFC Fight Night card with a decision bulked card, which was a bit of a bummer because we all like finishes, let's be brutally honest. But we're coming up to you this week. We'll be breaking down UFC 240 happening in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. The Canadians getting a card, a pay-per-view style with Max Holloway taking on Frankie Edgar, the headline act. And then obviously after that we'll be Will give you some bets or hints or tips. But before we get to there, Will, how did you find the weekend's fights and how's life, bro?
Yeah, I had a struggle. I had a big struggle with that card. I think it was my worst card of the year, actually. I had, like I said to you before, the only thing that was good about that card was the fact I got the last 3 picks in the fight card right, because I got loads of the previous 10 wrong. So, yeah, happy that kind of card is out the road. Overall, I enjoyed some of the fights, but it was long, and I got to bed before I even seen the majority of the fights. So, it was all right. Moving on to a pay-per-view card, I love the main event. Anytime you've got Max Holloway, it's going to be a fun time. And there's some guys scattered throughout the card that I'm looking forward to kind of watching and seeing how their progression's coming along as well. So, looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah, and so let's jump into it, ladies and gentlemen. Though before we start, do hit that subscribe button below. We're getting more subscribers all the time. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Do put your picks down below, or engage in the bets, etc. Do join in the conversation. We love hearing from you. We love engaging with you all. It's all about a community, and that's what we're trying to build. So please feel free to hit that sub button, hit the bell, and it'll give you the notification when this is going out each week. So let's kick off, Will, down at the very start of the card. They're going to have the big boys out, the heavyweights, making UFC debut is Tanner Boser against Giacomo Lemos. Will, what are you looking forward to, but what are you seeing in the fight?
Yeah, I think, like I say, it's 2 newcomers. It's weird you really get 2 newcomers kind of facing off against one another, but you've got the local guy, Tanner Boser, you've got the newcomer from Brazil in Lemos, who I think he's 6-0, 5 wins, 5 knockout, 1 via submission, but has been fighting journeymen at best. Where you look at Boser, who's got over 20 fights, and he really, when you look at his last 3 losses, that's something I always kind of look out for straight away, is losses. Then I go and watch them, and they were all in Russia. They were all in ACB against Russian heavyweights, which going over there and facing those type of guys is not easy, and not getting knocked out. Or he went to a decision where a couple of the last 3, one was a close split, another one was 2 pretty much unanimous decisions. But he never looked out at the fights. He just looked a little bit outgunned in those fights. Very slow, kind of paced heavyweight. Nothing really stands out. Kind of uses his leg kicks well, and it is very good with his top position, his ground and pound. But when I look at Lemos, he's also got good kicks, lack of technique with them, but he leaves opportunities. He leaves holes, he leaves gaps for you to take advantage of. And I think as the fight goes on, he's just going to get more and more sloppier, and just give Boser the opportunity to get shots off, maybe to clinch him up a little bit, put him against the cage. He's just going to give him opportunities, and for that, like, Tanner hasn't really been. I think it was Tim Hague, this was the last time that knocked him out, like years and years and years ago. So durable heavyweight, and one of his strong points is his cardio, so he's going to be able to go hard for 15 minutes. He's did that many times. Lemos can't do that, so I'm going to go Tanner Boser via decision.
Yeah, watching Lemos was not easy work, because he made hard work of journeymen.
Mm-hmm.
His striking's poor. He just throws big clubbing kind of hooks, kind of looping strikes, and then closes the gap. But he's got poor takedown technique, but he keeps going for takedowns. It's strange. Hasn't got the best technique. Tanner's got a good defense on the takedowns. Like you said, Will, his footwork for a heavyweight, he's got good movement, good footwork, good activity. Moving around, but I just wish he'd have a bit more output. Even throwing just to have a bit more output. I feel like he's a bit too tentative much of the time, and that's one of his kind of drawbacks when you watch him fight. You can see why he loses maybe decisions, because guys get a few more strikes landed on him. But I think in this fight, output is potentially going to catch him out in the first round. I think Lemos will have a good first round in him, maybe a couple of strikes, close distance, kind of clinch work. But I can't see Lemos doing much after the first round. He gasses more, he slows right down, he's very heavy-footed. that's when I think Tanner can start to just put the work rate in, start to land a few more shots, get a bit closer, and maybe even get a takedown himself and get on top of Lemos to maybe land some ground and pound. Being at home as well, big up for Tanner. Like you said, we're going to Russia all the time. Definitely one way to earn your stripes, especially with those boys. Like I say, he had some tough fights, but I'm going with Tanner as well. I just think his movement will be a tough one for Lemos to deal with, because if you look at Lemos' last opponent, he wasn't an active.
Yeah,
it was something special. But yeah, I'll go Tanner. I'll go like third round TKO, because I just think Lemos will be so tired. I think Tanner can get a takedown and just ground and pound him. Next up, we have in the welterweight division, coming up to welterweight, Eric Koch again. Well, he used to be down at 145 and then 155, and now he's at the 170 against Carl Stewart. And Carl Stewart had a rough debut against Chance. He landed some good shots, but losing on debut, it does suck. But I think Chance has got potential to be a decent addition to welterweight. And if I'm honest, I think Kyle has too. I think Kyle's a good fighter. I think he's a good competitor. I think he's got a good, lovely 1-2. Good 1-2. Moves off the centre line when he throws his 1-2s as well. So he's not there that much to be hit. My only issue is with Eric Koch, for example. Inactive. The dude doesn't fight off nowhere near enough. I know his nickname's New Breed. Dude, you're old, stale bread. Yeah.
That's it.
It's not good, man. He can't be this inactive, and now he's been spending time to bulk up for 170. If you follow him on social media, yeah, he looks jacked, but I think it's going to slow him down. I think he'll be slower. I don't think he'll be as quick as he thinks he will be. I think he'll tire a bit more, because when you're in the fight and you get fighting against 170, I think Kyle's going to be bigger. I think Kyle's quick with those 1-2s. I think I just feel like Kyle. Coach in his fight against like Bobby Green as well, he was quite on the defense. He was moving back quite a bit. He wasn't, trying to own the center of the cage. I think Kyle's going to be the aggressor in this one. I think for Eric, the best thing to do is maybe, I don't know about take Kyle Stewart down, because Kyle's got quite a lot of submission wins. I know he lost a submission, but the dude's got legit submission skills. Kyle Stewart, he's very opportunistic. He's got good submissions. Man, I'm going to go with Kyle Stewart. Kyle Stewart's more active. I think the inactivity from Eric. Man, I might go decision for Kyle here. I'm not super confident on Eric Koch, even though years ago I was super high on him. But man, I don't have much faith in it.
Yeah, it's a fight. It's weird, because Eric Koch was one of those guys that, kind of many moons ago, he was coming through, and like he's one of those WC guys, and those guys like really hold a kind of I hold him in kind of high regards, pretty much, because like WC was awesome. Like WC was so good, and really since he's made the jump to the UFC, he really, if we're being honest, he hasn't really done all that much. I don't think he's looked anything to what we thought his potential could be. I mean, this is a guy who knocked out Asun Sao in the first round in his UFC debut, and I thought this guy's going to be really a problem for a lot of guys. But since then, he's just kind of been trading wins and losses, and he's been jumping divisions and so on. And now he's moving up to 170, where he's, like I say, I'm all for people that are going to move up and are not cutting silly amounts away. Like you said, he looks great on social media. I think he's opened his own like combat gym or whatever it is. So. But fight-wise, the last time he looked good was 2016, over 3 years ago. So, and he's only fought twice since then, losing both times to Clay Guida and Bobby Green, where Bobby was just outstruck him the whole entire fight. It was too quick, was too good for him, and mixed in a couple of takedowns. Clay Guida was the same. He just got him and got takedowns. Now, that's something I think Eric Koch can actually use. I think he can use that. We saw it in the Shane Campbell fight. Shane Campbell, I think he's a little bit smaller than what Kyle Stewart is, but he was big for the division, big for lightweight, and he managed to kind of get underneath the kind of strikes of Shane Campbell, get a couple of takedowns, and from there, what Eric Koch is, I think he's a decent belt under Daniel Vanderlei, and Daniel Vanderlei is a really good jiu-jitsu coach out of Rufus Sport. I've watched a lot of his fighters. I've watched a lot of him on YouTube. really. So he's got the skills there. I think he's got the speed advantage here with over someone like Stewart, but he is going to be at the end of a reach disadvantage, a height disadvantage, where he could be kind of kept at distance maybe a little bit there. The one thing that kind of shines out for me with Kyle Stewart is I think he's got a very bad takedown defense. I think you can take this guy down and you can move to different positions. Now, I think when you look at the Rencounter fight, I thought Rencounter was going to be one of these guys that maybe wins one fight in the UFC and you might never see him win another fight. But he looked fantastic in the Nurdian fight, and he looked good in the Stewart one. He looks like he's going to be a problem for a lot of fighters just with the way he fights. Don't think his skill set's overly great, but I think he's a tough out for a lot of guys. Can take a shot, can get takedowns, can blanket you in positions as well. That's tough. So, and plus Kyle Stewart, I think it was a week's notice for that fight as well. So yeah, it was a tough out.
So he had to cut the weight to make it as well.
He did.
So
yeah,
that sucks on your body.
Yeah, that's going to be rough. Either way, I know it finished in the first there, but if that went on in the second and third, we've seen how that fight was going. Kyle Stewart wasn't winning that fight. You look at this one, I don't think it's a more winnable fight. I think he's got the advantages in his kind of side. I'm interested to see what Coke is like because, like I say, I think he's a really, really, really good fighter, but we've just never seen his potential. And he's only 30 years old, so he's still quite young. Considering how long he has been around for. Yeah. I'm going to pick Eric Koch. I'm actually going to pick him via submission. From what I see from the Kyle Stewart, when I seen the Nakashima fight, Nakashima's a really good grappler. He's actually a really good fighter, and he's fighting Yushin Okami over in one soon. And I think that they're actually guys that kind of train together a lot more now. I think he moved to the lab after that fight. But you've seen that there's opportunities to get takedowns. I don't know whether Koch's in that kind of same level, maybe it's Nakashima grappling wise, but I think he's got enough there to get him to the ground, and once from there I think he's got enough jiu-jitsu to maybe find a submission, but I think it's going to be close. I feel more confident picking Eric Koch in my opinion, so I'll go with new/old breed. I'll pick him via stoppage. I'll go via submission. I think he maybe gets a stoppage, but who knows? Not got the best read in the fight.
No, it's tough because with the lack of activity with Koch, and we've never seen him at 170. It's a hard one to do, isn't it? So you kind of going into unknown territory for him. So let's go to women's flyweight. Gillian Robertson against Sarah Froter. Now, obviously, Froter in the last fight missed weight slightly for the 115-pound division at 123 pounds, just slight. So thankfully, she shouldn't technically miss weight this time, but will. It's an interesting match. Grappler. What are you looking forward to, bro?
Yeah. When I look at it, though, when they were reading out, like, Sarah Froter, she's got a jiu-jitsu background, and I was like, has she really got a jiu-jitsu background? Because I'm not sure it's all... I don't know. I just didn't... From what I've seen in that fight, I thought, really, I don't know whether you're kind of that, you got that skill set nailed down, but that's what she's probably told Bruce to say or Joe Martinez to say. But like I said, she was massive for that fight. She looked like she was in a completely different weight class to Livia Souza. Her takedown defense was horrid. I think that that was a shining thing to me. She sprawled well a couple of times against Livia Souza, but there was some trips in there. There was takedowns where she really wasn't trying. She wasn't even attempting to really not getting taken down. And Souza's quite small, I think, for that 115 division, and dainty. But on her feet, you can see that she's very long. She's languid. And if this fight stays on the feet for any length of time, she's going to start picking on Gillian Robertson, because we've seen very little of Gillian Robertson on the feet in the UFC. I think she's had 4 or 5 fights. They've all finished via submission, whether she's lost or whether she's won. So it's fairly obvious, I think, where Gillian Robertson wants to take this ground. Every fight she wants to get it to the mat and try and find a way to the back. That seems to be her signature move. Last time when she was down in Brazil, I thought she was having a fairly decent first round. She just got caught in that armbar, and that happens sometimes. But and plus, if that fight went into the second round, I think that Bueno was injured. She hurt her foot. That wouldn't have went on all that much longer if that injury was there. So One thing that really shines out to me with Gillian Robertson is I think her grappling's decent, but I think she really executes the single leg takedown very, very well. And I think that's something that's kind of unheard of with the women's divisions. You don't see too many that'll go for a single leg and really just nail it. Majority of the time she did it against Veronica Macedo. Macedo was really kind of hitting her up in the feet a little bit. But the takedowns were there, and predominantly it was a single leg, and she'll just find a way to move position, and then she gets the back, and if she gets the back, I think that's a signature move. We've seen that in Liverpool with the Molly fight. It'd be interesting to see they two rematch now, because I think Molly would beat her now. I think that was a big wake-up call for Molly, and she had to move a lot with like grappling, jiu-jitsu and so on. I would easily pick probably Molly McCann over Gillian in that spot there. But,
and weight cutting as well.
Yeah, it was short notice. And it was short notice. No, it wasn't short.
She just. I think media obligations maybe.
Yeah, I think
too.
Yeah, that's what it was. Now thinking back, but like I said, I like Robertson's style of fight. I think, but she's very, very hittable in the feet in it. But when I see Sarah Frota, I think that she can be taken down. But then she's moving up to 125 now, so that might help with that.
Yeah. My
initial pick was Frota. And as I was watching one of the fights, I kind of leaned over to Gillian Robertson. So I'm going to pick Gillian Robertson to win this fight. I've had loads of people actually message me in this one. This specific fight, which is weird with other fights on the card, it's a women's fight. So, but I'm one of those guys as well. If you're betting on women's fights, you always go with the underdog. And Sarah Frota is the underdog. So
is she? All right.
She is. Gillian Robertson's the favourite in this one. So I'm going to go Gillian Robertson actually. So I'll go. If I'm going to pick it, it's probably going to be by submission. So go submission win for Gillian Robertson.
Not spinning head kick, no.
No.
Yeah, it is a hard one to pick. Yeah, Frota she done like Pan Ams, all that stuff, mate. She has done high level jiu-jitsu competitions and done very well. Sarah Frota has in them. I'm torn on this one because from a grappling jiu-jitsu side of things, Frota is a better grappler. She legitimately is a higher level jiu-jitsu practitioner. Putting it into effect in mixed martial arts is a different kettle of fish. Not everyone's quite got the knack yet. And Gillian Robertson she is always growing, especially with Dean Thomas in the corner. She's over at ATT, sparring with Joanna Jacek. You know, that's pretty good sparring to learn how to move your head off the centre line so you're not getting popped in the face. But yeah, the single leg is probably the best option. Because if you can run the pipe on a single leg, it's less effort than a double leg, you know, and as long as you just put the weight on there, you drag them one way, it's an easier takedown than a double leg, especially with a double leg, because they can break the grip, they can get the hips away. A single leg is a strong takedown that Gillian has. Sarah Frota, I think part of it is she doesn't mind getting takedown, similar to like Charles Oliveira, where Charles Oliveira's never going to stop you taking him down. And Sarah Frota showed it in that fight that even though she got taken down, she didn't. Not much was happening to her. She was able to get the high guards. She was able to hold it down, pin it down, and she's got threatening kind of submissions from her back as well as on top. Gillian's the same. I think Gillian's very dexterous. She's got good submission attempts herself. Like you said there, she did get caught. It happens in a fight game. Anyone can get caught, man. I just wish this fight would start in a 50-50 guard. And just on the ground and off they go, and that would no punches, just grapple. Let's go. It'd be a lot of fun. On the feet, I think Frota probably will land, bro. If I'm honest with you, I think Frota will just be able to stand and land a few, simple 1-2s, keep Gillian on the end. Gillian's going to look to just bum rush and get the takedown. If you're going to go with Robertson, I'll probably pick Frota because I'm 50-50. I don't have a clear line on this because I think Frota, if she can at flyweight, if she's put the proper strength and conditioning on for this, she can be a good threat in the flyweight division as a grappler and a submission kind of artist. And especially with a single leg takedown, if you're Frota, your number one thing, guillotines, that is a threat. That's something you've got to be thinking about. Or a Kimura situation as well, locking the Kimura as you go down the single leg, you can use it as a sweep. So I'm sure Frota knows everything that's going to not happening with that single leg options. But I'll go with Frota. I'm not uber confident. I just really hope the fight gets to the ground. I would be very disappointed if this fight stayed standing. It would be a waste of both girls' talents. I hope it gets to the ground. I hope we see kind of sweeps and back and forth exchanges on the ground. Be lovely to watch. I'd love to see that. Kind of like Amir Khan against Arnold Allen when they were on the. Remember that when they were just exchanging. Super. I love that. I'd like to see that in this fight. This fight is made for that. So I'm going to pick Frota, but again, I am not uber confident. But I'm going to pick Frota. Next up, we have in the flyweight division a rather stonkingly exciting fight. Let's put it that way, Will. Pantoja against Figueiredo. Oh, mate, what a fucking good fight this is. You know, this is what I mean. Getting rid of the flyweight division was preposterous. When you have matches like this, it's a great fight. Two high-level flyweights just putting on great performances every time they show up. You know, I look forward to seeing both of these guys compete. Man, I'm kind of favouring Pantoja here. I think he is an absolute savage of a man. And I just think he's performing so well. The strikes he was landing against William Hayes was just beautiful. The Sasaki fight, I thought it was a good win for him because I thought, you know, it was a quick win. He got it done because Sasaki is an awkward guy to fight in that division. He's about 17 foot tall. It just doesn't. He should never be. It's preposterous that he's a flyweight, and he's you know, you've got to manage getting closing the distance on Sasaki. The fact that you get him down and you can just take advantage of him. It was great. It was great to see. Brendan Moreno, that was a tough win. Who's got signed back to the UFC as well after winning the LFA title, LFA belt. I think that he's he hits so good. He's got great time with that right hand that just lands that right on the button. And he's fighting a guy who's perfect for this because he's got a guy who likes to throw striking, likes to come at you aggressively. And like Juicy Formiga was getting the timings on him in the last matchup. I thought Formiga was just starting to learn to get the counter strikes, get any potential takedown attempts. He was just getting the timings and markings on him. And I think that's what will happen here. I just think Figueiredo would get. He's going to be coming forward aggressive, and I think Pantoja is going to be just on point with those counters, timing those shots, and I think he'll just get the better of him. I'm going to go decision again with this, especially in the flyweight division. It's kind of safe bet, go decision. But I would not be surprised Pantoja marks up Figueiredo pretty bad in this fight, but I'm quite looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a spectacular matchup.
Like it's interesting that I think the UFC are maybe thinking about keeping this flyweight division around. It's weird how it kind of changes month to month, but if they're still putting on flyweight fights, then there's some interest there in it. So I'm happy at that, to be fair, because I love the flyweight division. So, and these are two guys I really love watching. I love Pantoja. I have done for a long time. He was one of the guys in Glasgow against Neal that really impressed me. And Figueiredo is a really tough out for a lot of guys in that division, and he's coming off his loss in his last fight as well. So this is where I'm kind of interested to see how this is matched up a little bit. When I look at more a well-rounded fight, I think it's Pantoja. I think he's got the jiu-jitsu to go with his striking. He's got the angles with his striking. Where you've got the aggressiveness of Figueiredo, who comes forward, looks to kind of land that one big strike or one big takedown, and so on. But when I looked at both, the one thing that jumped out to me was Pantoja definitely lands more, but I think that the more kind of bigger, devastating strikes, if they were to land, would come from Figueiredo. But when he barrels forward, he's there to be countered. In his last fight with Formiga, he did that, but what Formiga did well was drop down and get takedowns. And that's what Formiga is brilliant at, timing takedowns. Well, I think Pantoja's got that in his back pocket as well. I think he's also got a great jiu-jitsu game. He will try and find a way to get to the back. That seems to be one of his signature moves. On the feet, I think he's the more crisper, classier striker with a little bit better angles than what Figueiredo. He kind of barrels forward, swinging wild kind of punches, where Pantoja is just a bit more technical, a bit more crisp with his striking. And for me, that's where I see this 15-minute fight being kind of held. Is just the better overall fighter is going to win the fight, and that, to me, is Pantoja, as long as he doesn't get hit with big shots, because that's what Figueiredo's obviously looking for, or big mat busting kind of takedowns. But that's not going to. I don't think that's going to happen here. So I've got Pantoja to win a 15-minute war between these two.
Yeah, I think that's possibly up for fight of the night already. I think that's going to be a great back and forth battle. One I'm looking forward to. Next up we have, featherweight division. Gavin Tucker, back after a couple of years. Injury, always a git. Against, here we go, Seung Woo Choi.
Yeah.
And we'll take it away, brother.
Yeah, I totally forgot how much of that absolute arse beating Gavin Tucker took in his last fight.
Against Glenn.
Glenn, holy shit. He got absolutely wrecked in that fight. I forgot about that.
It was 2 years ago. It's crazy. Think about it.
Yeah, it was a while ago that, but like Rick Glenn, I should say, is he's a vet, so he's been around a long time, but he's never did that to someone where he completely bludgeoned them to death. That fight should have called before the end of the 15 minutes. Let's get honest. That the ref should have stopped it, or the corner should have threw in something. That kid took a lot of strikes, and that's the reason he was out for so long. Before that, he had the Sam Sicilia fight. I think he was just that was a kind of career performance, if I'm being honest with you. He looked great when he looked like he put his combinations well together. Got another takedown in there, but like I say, you have to kind of take from what you see from those fights, and what you took from that Rick Glenn fight was that he just got wrecked, absolutely wrecked. Not only in the feet, but he also got taken down fairly easy. That was a thing that can open my eyes. Maybe that was too big of a jump going from a Sam Sicilia, who's also a veteran, but then you've got someone like Rick Glenn who, for me, if people were asking like Sicilia to Rick Glenn, that's a big jump in caliber opposition, in my opinion. And now you've got him against Seung Woo Choi here, who's, like I said last week with Jinsu Sun, it didn't really turn out well last week for him, but there's a whole batch of South Korean fighters coming through, and they're going to South Korea later on this year. They're bringing more in, and there's going to be a new wave of like these fighters from Korea coming in that are going to be really, really good fighters. And Seung Woo Choi, he lost pretty comprehensively against Movsar Evloev in Russia this year, but I don't think he embarrassed himself at all. I think that fought as good a fight. I think that Evloev is going to be a ranked fighter. So say what you want about that. He's going to be a 15 guy.
He might have Mike Grundy next.
Yeah, that's a good fight to put that together. But he's the kind of guy that he fights at range very well. He dictates the pace, or he can dictate the pace. But when he is at the other end of that, when someone's dictating the pace, he kind of looks a little bit sloppy. Really good stinging low kicks, puts his combination with his hands well together. And I'm just interested to see what Tucker has changed up. I think he's went to TriStar for this one. And he's did a lot of work with your Arnold Allens and Mirsad Bektic and so on and so on. I like this Seung Woo Choi kid here. I do. I think that he's actually a really, really solid fighter. He's long, he's lengthy, and he's got that over Tucker here. And Tucker might be a little bit rusty. I just, like I say, that fight really sticks out from Rick Glenn, where he got beat up. And I'm not saying that's ever going to happen, because that doesn't happen too many times in consecutive fights. But for me, I can see Seung Woo Choi winning this fight at range, keep him there, hit him with leg kicks and hit him with nice combination shots. And Tucker has to get in close to get shots off, in my opinion, and that's where he might end up getting countered with some big shots. And saying that, if you go back and watch some of the Seung Woo Choi fights before the UFC, sometimes he gets a bit too aggressive and he can get dropped. He got dropped a couple of times. So I don't know what the reach kind of disparity is in this one. Let me just check. 74 for Seung Woo Choi to 66. Gavin Tucker. That's a big.
That's big.
5'6" to a 6 foot tall striker as well. 6 foot tall. So that's a big height, range, everything there. I like Seung Woo Choi. I don't think he's gonna do what Rick Glenn did, put it that way, but I think he's just gonna win the fight by landing more and having the bigger, harder strikes in the fight. So I've got Choi via decision.
Rick Glenn's like a smaller Tim Means.
Yeah.
Dirty fighter, can bludgeon you with these little punches and elbows. There's just something about Rick Glenn. He's got that about him. It's annoying because, do you know what? I think Gavin Tucker, he's got some good skills.
He has.
He's got lovely footwork. He changes stances, cuts different nice angles, nice head movement. He has got a good skill set, and like you said, in that Sam Sicilia fight, I thought he looked tremendous. Because Sam Sicilia, if he hits you, he's got a good good power in his hands, and he's in the Bellator tournament, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, it's
So so he's still even now. Sam Silly is a top contender in any promotion. But yeah, that fight he get bloodied up. But the problem was he didn't have an answer. He got stuck. He kept doing what he was doing, and it wasn't working. And I always think if you don't have a game plan B or C, that's not good. You should have your A game, and if things aren't going well, you should have a dirty game B plan to get you the points for the round, to maybe get the decision or whatever it is. If I can't win on the feet, maybe I can clinch him up against the cage and get just some dirty points to win. And like you said, I thought he took too much of a beating in that fight. He was not going to get it back, and it was just frustrating to watch. Mosvar against Choi was, man, that was just a battle of heart really for Choi. He just kept getting up, kept fighting to get up. He looked, and that's one thing I thought about him. Against someone of a high grappling level, he didn't look too bad. It wasn't like Khabib manhandling someone and just beating the shit out of them. Choi did all right to get in that fight in moments to get up. He just didn't have that caliber of wrestling, and I think that's something that we'll see a lot of the kind of Korean guys fall short on if they fight guys like that. They need, for example, like some of those Russian freaks to go over there and wrestle with them to bring that game up. And you'll probably see that in the Performance Institute. We'll probably see a lot of the kind of Russian UFC talent go there to train, and the Koreans will obviously be there training. And you'll probably see a bit of a combination, a mixed match of guys, sharing knowledge. I think you're dead on with the kind of the height and the reach disparity and the kind of striking that Choi has. I think Tucker's just going to have a tough time closing that gap. He's got good footwork, but I think Choi's just going to be away by the time he uses the footwork to get in. And Choi will 100% have been working on his takedown defense, so even if Tucker tried to use that as an option, I would like to think Choi's worked a bit on his defense since the last time. And I think with his height, Choi, for me, on his defense, he should try to incorporate a kind of almost judoka style with that long leg on the inside leg, sweeping to get over, to get the guy down. Especially if you get a whizzer, inside leg and trip, that's something a guy of his height should be using definitely to get as a reversal to kind of take down attempts. But I'm going to go with Choi as well, mate. I think he can just pick Tucker apart for 3 rounds, and I think Tucker will just get frustrated, and I don't think Tucker will put a game plan B or C in. He'll just try to keep rinse and repeat his style. He could have done more at TriStar, who knows, but from what we can see tape-wise, I'd probably go Choi as well, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Next up in the featherweight division as well, a very fun fight. Hakeem Dawodu against Yoshinori Horie. There we go. Hooray! And an awesome thing about Horie is you can watch his fights on UFC Fight Pass because he was on Pancrase, which is really, really awesome. And I think that's why Sean Shelby and that signed these guys on, because they can just sit there and watch them. Loads of tape study. Look, Hakeem, we kind of know what he's going to do. He's got the lovely kickboxing. He's got nice combinations. He's got good leg kicks. He's explosive. Likes to spin around, do a little spinning kick here and there. He has got holes in his game. Submission-wise, on the ground, he's open to getting taken down and submitted. But I've got to be honest, man. Horie has got some pop in his hands. That kid has got, I don't know what he's got, but he just cracks and dudes drop. Man, that kid's just patient, and I like it. He's got a nice, relaxed, calm style. It's patient, and he's done well in Pancrase. He's went up through the ranks, so to speak. He's earned his stripes, and you can see the progression in there, and it's good. I like it, and I just think he could get. I think if he wanted, or he should, I'd be trying to get Hakeem down once or twice in the first round, or at least get to the cage for a bit of grappling. But I just know he won't. He's too much of a patient style fighter. He likes to counter. It's the perfect kind of opponent, which is Hakeem, because Hakeem will use an aggressive kind of kickboxing to come forward to Horie. I'm actually going to go with Horie in this one. I think he's going to surprise people. I think he's going to be Obviously, he's going to be. I imagine he's the underdog on this, on the betting side of things, the little Japanese dynamite. But I'm going to go with the dog here. I honestly think he can counter strike and really hurt Hakeem, so much so that it will kind of make Hakeem change how he has to approach it. I just think the counter strike and that pop he's got. I think Hakeem's going to have a rough night. I'm going to go decision for Horie, but Hakeem's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be a fun fight, because I think I would try to get Hakeem down a couple times in the first, just to take away that gas and explosiveness, and then use that counter strike in the second and third. But I'll go with Horie decision.
Yeah. Like I said to you earlier on, I find it quite interesting. I literally sat and watched every one of this kids' fights earlier on, and it's something that I'll not sit down for long stints and watch your full catalogue of fights, but I did it with this kid. I think this is a massive step up in opponent from what he's faced. I really do. I think, and when you look at the people he's fought, 47-year-old, 42-year-old, 36-year-old, he's going to have a speed advantage in those fights. Let's put it that way. But what he does have really fast, crisp hands, a good counter strike. If you come in now, his last fight, I think it was against Hanzo. I remember his nickname there, but he came in and he caught him with a crisp right straight down the pipe and knocked him out through that. The previous fight, he had the guy against the cage, kind of hit him right in the ear, knocked him out. And that was pretty vicious. Before that, he fought Issei Tamura, who's a guy that, if you've been watching UFC for a long time, he had a short stint in the UFC, lost to two beasts, one beast in Hafilis and Sau, and a guy that injects shit in his ass in TJ Dillashaw. Not that I've got any bad will towards that guy, just that he beat Cody a couple of times, but it is what it is. But yeah, had a short stint in the UFC, lost to those guys. That was the fight I took more away from, because Yoshinori, he won that first round. What I like about Pancrase is they'll tell you who won the first round after it's done. I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, Tamura came out, caught him with a massive looping right hand. That was the only opportunity was going to get to win that fight, and he stumbled him. Had another 30 to 45 seconds in that fight where he tried to catch him with a big shot, eventually caught him with a big shot, put him down, ref pulled him off, got a big win there. When you move over to the UFC here, he's got Dawodu, who I think is faster, more crisp, more technical, meaner, more output. But will Yoshinori come in here and look to maybe get takedowns? I'm not so sure. I think this is going to be more of a stand-up battle, and that's where I favour Dawodu to win this fight pretty easily. Well, not easily, but I think he catches him. I just think that he's going to be too fast, pretty much, and he will hurt him through that. Where he's came on from the Danny Henry fight, that was a big shock. Nobody's seen that coming. Getting subbed in a minute. Came in against Austin Arnett, I think it was, next, and Arnett's not great, but he's tough. Then I thought he started to look a lot better in that fight with Kyle Bochniak, where his output was outstanding. Got taken down a few times by Bochniak, but he was unclipping at Bochniak at a high rate and won the fight easily. For me, I think this is going to be his first finish in the UFC. I've got Hakeem Dawodu to catch him the middle part of this fight, maybe late round 2, early round 3, and knock this kid out. So I've got Hakeem Dawodu to win via TKO in the second.
Ooh, I like this. This. Very good, bro. Now, we're going to go on to the next fight, which is the ladies. We have Alexis Davis facing Viviane Araujo. Araujo.
Yeah.
I'll spit out there. There you go. Well, it's a good one because it's kind of is it a changing of the guard? Maybe is it Viviane is she's 32, so she's not the youngest. But what are you seeing, bro, against Alexis Davis, who was a veteran of women's MMA?
Yeah, no, this was. I was really impressed with Araujo on debut, to be. If I'm being quite honest with you. I thought I didn't, and plus the fact that she knocked a girl dead with one shot, you don't really see that all too much with the women's side of fights. So you can tell that she's got some really good technique and power to kind of go behind it. So I like that. She had a pretty fair output in that fight as well. Bernardo was kind of shooting in for takedowns, not really getting anywhere. But then Araujo was getting the takedowns off that. So when you look at Alexis Davis, she's been around for a long ass time, coming up through Strikeforce, UFC. I think she was Invicta as well. So she's been around. She's seen it all pretty much. She's probably faced kind of every type of fighter. But I think Araujo, even though she's only a couple of years younger, she's a lot more fresher in her MMA career than what Alexis Davis is. To me, Alexis Davis is. I thought she looked very lethargic after coming back after pregnancy. That happens. I think that happens with the majority of the females. That's a big jump coming from having a baby back into fight shape and so on. Lost to Chookagian in a close-ish fight, but Chookagian does what Chookagian does and just wins fights by landing on the outside and grunting away. So then you've got Jennifer Maia, where she lost that one pretty comprehensively. I think that Jennifer landed just the better strikes. And to me here, you've got Araujo, who I think was a 115er, moving up to 125 for that last fight. In fact, it says at 135. Am I thinking...
135 and down to 125.
125, yeah. So she was a 115er, and she's moved up to 125. She's faster, she's quicker. I think she's more varied. Alexis Davis does not move her head off the centre line, so you know where her head's forever going to be. So if you can open up the body and then go up top, you're going to hurt her with shots up there. Maybe Davis's kind of game plan is going to be to get her, tie her up, take her to the ground. I just think Araujo's going to piece her up for 15 minutes and land the bigger, more hurtful shot. So I've got Araujo v decision.
Yeah, man, I was super impressed by Viviane. She just showed a high aggressive output, just constantly moving forward, had no fear, and her combinations were lovely.
Yes,
crisp combinations, man. Yeah, like I said, she wasn't just headhunting. You know, she did the leg kicks, body shots, head shots. She was just showing a great arsenal, a great options, and for Alexis Davis, I think she's going to have a tough time with it. Jennifer Maia, was similar to that extent, where Maia just had more output than Alexis Davis, and Davis just didn't quite have the answer to constantly keep up with it. She couldn't keep up with the pace. I think she got dropped in the Maia fight as well, off the top of my head, Davis did.
Yeah.
I think she could get dropped here. Again, I just think the work rate from Viviane, she just can just outstrike Davis, where it's exhausting. Blocking shots is exhausting, being on the defense, constantly moving on the back foot. It's tiring, hard work. Alexis Davis, I imagine she's going to try and want to clinch and get the fight to the ground. It's her best option. It truly is her only option to really get this win, is to clinch, get it down, and just smother the fight. Stop Viviane trying to be as active and aggressive on the feet. I find that Viviane's got good... She's light on the feet. I think she's got good movement back and forth. She's out of range of shots. She can cut the angles. And I think she could sprawl or stuff the Davis takedowns. Yeah, it is one of them ones where I haven't seen Alexis Davis evolve enough. Weirdly enough, she got a split decision against Liz Carmouche, which is probably her best win to date for a fair few years. Other than that, there's not much about her that I've been super impressed about. I just feel that maybe she might be suited to an Invicta FC promotion or Bellator, but not UFC. I think some of these girls just coming at her they're just a different breed, so to speak, of changing and aggressiveness. So I'm with you. I'm going here with heavy decision win for Viviane. I just think she'll just 30-27, aggressive output, out and light, and she'll probably cut her up a little bit, bust her up. I think Alexis Davis marks up pretty well in fights. She had a pretty face a few times in fights, so I'm going to Alexis Davis as well. We're going to go to the main card. This is the pay-per-view now. This is what people are going to be paying $60 for. Middleweight division. Marc-André Barriault against Jotko. Or Krzysztof. Mate, it's a good middleweight fight. It's for Jotko anyway. I think it's a more suitable fight for Jotko. I think it's a very, very winnable fight for him. He's Tiger Muay Thai, I believe it is. Jotko's hitting that again, so he's trained with those savages. I thought he looked really impressive against Allen in his last fight. I thought he looked dominant, aggressive. Or was he at ATT now? No, he's at ATT now, isn't he? Sorry, Jotko.
Yeah, he's been.
No, he's done Tiger Muay Thai and ATT. The dude's with some absolute top gyms, and it was a big fight for Jotko to get that win. You know, especially because he got the knockout loss to Hall and Brad Tavares. You know, those were those are kind of tough, especially when you get 2 KO losses. It's not good. And he came back, just did a solid performance. I think he's got an opponent here who's hittable. I think Jotko's got stronger footwork. I think he's got the better combinations. I think Jotko's actually... I actually like Jotko as a fighter. I think he's a legitimately good fighter. I think he's going against a guy who just... He takes hits. Mark gets hit a lot in his fights. If you look at his fights, I think he's hittable. He's done 2 weight classes. He lost against Andrew Sanchez. If I'm Jotko, I'd probably be taking him down a bit as well in the fight. I'd land the strikes on Marc-André to enter into the takedown. So I'm getting the point standing. So I'm landing the strikes, then I get the takedown, do whatever happens on the ground, whether it be landing some strikes or just even holding the position, depending on how Marc defends itself, and just rinse and repeat that. And if I'm honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if Jotko got the finish in the 3rd round, let's say. I think Jotko just, because it's exhausting getting taken down and getting back up again. I'm gonna give Jotko some props. I think he's a bit of a savage. I think he can get the victory here. Stoppage in the 3rd round. I think combination of landing the strikes, entry into the takedown, getting on top, just grinding out Marc-André, with the strikes. Then it comes that will come in the 2nd, 3rd round. The strikes into the takedown will land heavier. They'll land more. So I'm going to go with Jotko late 3rd round stoppage.
Yeah, I think that's where you're definitely nailing it. Is where he wins this fight is through his takedowns. When I look at Jotko, if you go back into his kind of European days when he would fight on European cards all the time, your Askham fights, your Bradley Scott fights, he won his fights through takedowns, torturing. He's actually got a pretty good timing on getting takedowns, but then he's taken some pretty heavy knockout losses, and I think he's been forced to go back to that style because he can't take the punishment that he once could. Losing his last 3 fights before the Amadovsky fight, where he went back to his takedowns again, which won him the fight, and that was smart. That's what he has to do here. He has to do that with Barriault. He has to do what Andrew Sanchez did. Andrew Sanchez pushed him against the cage, got some takedowns through that. But what I liked about Barriault was that he fought his way back to his feet and the kid never gives up on himself. You can see that. And he loves a brawl. If he can engage in a brawl, he's going to come out the other side looking good. In this one here, if they start brawling and he finds the chin of Jotko, I think he knocks him out. I really do. So Jotko's got to get a hold of him quick, push him against the cage, and get takedowns. But that's easier said than done because Sanchez was doing that and he was eating some heavy shots as well. He was starting to fade as the fight went on. And one of the things that Sanchez you could critique about him was the fact that he would fade in fights, and it looked a lot better in that fight. If he faded like he did in previous fights, Barriault would have got him out because he goes hard for 15 minutes and can always fire at you. I like Barriault in this one. I was a little bit surprised when I was watching it. I was like, wow, am I really picking this guy? Because I was super impressed with his performance, but when I watched his fights back in TKO from the first fight, he's a brawler, and the opponents were engaging him in brawls. You don't do that with this guy. You tie him up, you clinch him up, you try and hurt him and take him down through that. But what he did in that Sanchez fight, he did enough to me where he was stopping Sanchez from getting takedowns. Now, if he can just get his back off the cage and maybe he can turn the position and start unloading strikes, then he could really hurt Jotko. I'm not sold on Krzysztof Jotko's chin anymore. I don't think he can take full-blown shots, and Barriault's got big power. You saw that before he came into the UFC. He's got a lot of power, and he'll look for the chin and try and take you out. So I'm going to take a shot in the underdog here and think Barriault maybe gets him out of there. If not, he maybe wins a decision where he stops the takedowns and he lands more on the feet. So I've got Marc-André Barriault for the win there.
Nice, bro. I like it. So next up, lightweight division. Olivier Aubin-Mercier against Arman Tsarukyan.
Yeah.
Mate, what a talent. Was it a flash in the pan one fight?
No.
Or is he a legit lightweight potential savage?
Yeah, I really... There's not many people that I get like super high on watching But this kid is something, he just pops out to me as being someone I think is going to be a ranked lightweight. And if you're in the rankings at lightweight, you're going to do fairly well. But I think he's got the potential to move into the top 10 in that division. The kid's 22 years old. Tiger Muay Thai product, won a contract or something, and won a tournament to get like a year's free coaching and accommodation out there. Used that. Now he's moved his camp to American Top Team, and he's Dustin Poirier's main training partner for Khabib. So he's been going hard with the world champion for weeks now, getting Poirier ready for his fight in about 6 weeks' time, whenever that is. So he's been having great looks with people. And then you look at his UFC debut, even though he lost, there was 2 judges gave it 30-27, one gave it 29-28. I thought it was 29-28 all day long for Makhachev. I thought he lost the first round. What Tsarukyan does really well, he's got good leg attacks. The guy's obviously got world-class grappling, because I think that Makhachev thought he was going to have his way with that kid a lot easier than what he originally did. I really think that he underestimated Tsarukyan.
You can see after the first round he went, I need to switch my shit together. Yeah,
and that's what happened, because Tsarukyan, he got kind of planted against the cage, but then he reversed it, and then they both started working for takedowns. There was like great grappling on the ground between them, and eventually Tsarukyan got him down and got his back against on the mat as well. And even when Makhachev would take him down, he was never stopping. He was moving into positions, and then eventually he'd be exploding, where he was getting the back or like getting his arms around the waist of Makhachev. We never really seen much of his striking, but I think that's a strong suit. We've seen that he can grapple with, like, Makhachev is a legit guy grappling. Aubin-Mercier is not on the level of that guy, so Aubin-Mercier is not going to want to grapple with this dude, I don't think. If you don't know already, by what you can tell off me, like, I really like this kid, and there's not many times when I'm willing to like throw loads of money on one guy in a fight. I'm tempted to do that with Tsarukyan this week, and that's maybe me being stupid, or maybe me just being kind of diamond eyes. I see this guy and I think he's going to be really, really good. I like the matchup for him personally, but what I see of Tsarukyan, just from watching his fights, his UFC debut, I think the kid's got a very high ceiling in the organisation. You look at Aubin-Mercier, as he maybe petered out to where he was always going to be, and just outside that, maybe the top 20 of the division. So, and he's coming off a couple of losses there. I think he started kind of bigging himself up a little bit after beating Evan Dunham, and he was paying guys to be like his bodyguard as the Canadian gangster, which was funny.
I admit it was funny. It was Canadian humour.
Yeah, but it's like, really, dude, you're not even in the top 15 and you're doing that. So, and Evan Dunham, we know, cannot take body shots. It was fairly evident by his last few fights in the UFC that if you attacked his body, you were going to shut him down. So, the Alexander Hernandez fight, Hernandez I don't think looked that great in that fight. Or maybe he did look good in that fight. We just haven't seen the ceiling of Alexander Hernandez, because I don't think he looked good last weekend either. But what he did is he never stopped, and he got Mercier down a few times, and he lost the fight through that. Gilbert Burns just absolutely kind of beat him up in the feet, took him down on the ground, and that was kind of more a maturation of seeing Gilbert Burns putting his striking together, because we know what his ground game's all about.
Yeah.
I'm not writing off Olivier Aubin-Mercier here, but I just think he's outmatched a little bit everywhere except for the UFC experience, in my opinion. Love his body kick, always been a big fan of Mercier's body kicks, and he's got some submission skills, so Tsarukyan needs to be careful where he puts, or where he positions himself, maybe on the cage or in scrambles or so long as he might get caught with something. You know which way I'm going to go here, guys. I'm going to go Arman Tsarukyan I think he's going to 30-26 this guy or take him out. I think that I'm super high, and I've not felt this way in a guy. It's the same way. Peter Yan, like Evloev, is another guy I'm pretty high on as well, but this guy just shines out to me. Like, the last guy was Peter Yan, the one before that was Cody Garbrandt, and look what happened, he went on to win a title. So I just really like this kid, so I've got him to win 30-26 across the scorecards here in Canada, and it'll be interesting to see where Aubin-Mercier kind of goes for, because that's 3 losses in the bounce. But maybe I'm just looking too much into it, because you can tell I'm a fan of this kid. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's give some props to Aubin-Mercier. Like you said, he's been in the game a while. He got a split decision win over Tony Martin, which right now, it's a solid win. Submission win over Drew Dober. So his record's not awful. He's everyone else that he's beat. You would hope that he beats. He is a solid wrestler. He is a good wrestler, but he just somehow got absolutely destroyed in the Hernandez fight, and I was really surprised at that. Because I thought like that was more of his stronger point for him was his grappling side of things. But I think that Mercier, like you said, body kick's one of the good things. He is quite fixed set, so I do think does he have a gas tank limit, so he has to be careful on what output he can put out for 5-minute rounds. And when you're going to face someone like Arman, who, let's be honest, like against Makhachev, when he were grappling that much and back and forth, he looked fantastic at the end of the third round. You know, the pair of them just looked like it was a warm up. That was what's so freaky scary about it. The pair of them were like, "Is that 3 rounds? All right, okay, we're doing. Is that the warm up done? Let's actually have the fight now." It was disgustingly scary. And like you said, Will, Tiger Muay Thai. So he's at he trained there with some absolute savages, and then he goes and trains at ATT again, absolute savage. He's getting an insane amount of knowledge thrown at him and you got to imagine not just the training partners at ATT, the training partners at Tiger Muay Thai as well. You know, it's just all of it collectively. He's getting the wrestling, the striking. He is one of the more exciting lightweights around at the moment. And if people are not high on this kid, I would be absolutely amazed. I don't think it was a one-off. I think even if Makhachev brought his A game in the first round, I still think he would have had a tough time no matter what. I'm high on Arman on this one. I think Olivier Mercier, if I watched that Hernandez fight and I'm Arman, I would just do what I did. I'd get him down as well. I'd just grapple him all day long and just grind him out, wear him out, and submission might come along, TK ground and pound might come along. You know, there is a finish there. Obviously, I'm not saying he can't finish. He's not comparable on the feet. I'm not saying that at all. I just think if there's an opportunity there and there's something that is a miss, take advantage of it. Go ahead and do what you can. So I think Arman, man, I'm going Arman to win the fight. Would I be shocked with a finish? No, I'll go late finish for him. But mate, I'm with you as well. I think he's all day long. We'll talk about the bets and the odds in a minute because I am curious about what the odds are for that fight. And obviously watching Will empty his bank account on it. And then next up in the welterweight division, we have Geoff Neal against Niko Price. Man, Niko Price is a dude who's weirdly annoying because you should write him off, but the son of the bitch wins. He's just weirdly unorthodox but effective. Like he's not the cleanest striker, but he cracks hard. He's got one of those body types. You know when people have those long body types, the broad shoulders, the long arms, and it's kind of like in boxing with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder shouldn't really be doing as well as he is in heavyweight, but because of the kind of the body that he has, it's to do with the physics and how much power he can generate the punches because of the length in which his arms are, etc. Niko Price is kind of like that, but Niko Price is hot and cold. I don't know how Niko was going to turn up today. Is it going to be a Niko that's going to absolutely blow me away and put on a stellar performance and knock you out with little punches when you're cupped underneath his foot? Or it's just, I don't know. But then again, you've got your boy Geoff Neal, who, whoa, like, I have to give props to Barriault Mohammed, man. That dude, how the hell he stood up and kept standing is beyond me. Geoff Neal punched him into another universe. Absolutely battered him, he did. One thing about Geoff Neal I love is that head kick. I love how he can land that head kick, even if you're nose to nose with him. You know, it's like in remember in Rush Hour when Chris Tucker stood there around him and someone kicks him. Who did that? That is what happens. Geoff Neal kicks you. Like, what? He was just right there. Man, I'm high on Geoff Neal. Geoff Neal's got crazy power, puts it together, and he's got power in the third round is what I love about Geoff Neal. He's got good conditioning for the third round, can go hard and for 15 minutes with that power. It's easy for a dude to have it for the first round, and it starts to peter off. He's got it for 3 rounds, man. He cracks, and you're still wobbling on the third. That head kick that he just sneaks in, I think he offers a counter striking, even if he can obviously just be aggressive, but I think Niko's going to be coming to him. I think Geoff Neal will just crack Niko, and Niko's going to go, oh shit, that's not nice. And I believe that Niko should probably end up on his back in this one, and I think it's going to be like the Hassan fight, where he's just going to get smoked. I think that power, the explosiveness of Geoff Neal, similar to Hassan, I think Niko's going to sleep in this one.
I'm not a fan of Niko Price. I've never really... I don't know what it is. It's just fighters sometimes you don't latch on to. It's weird, like, how... Like, I was speaking about Tsarukyan last fight, and then, like, everything, I cannot stop talking about that kid pretty much. But then there's people like Niko Price where it's just... Something rubs me the wrong way, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know, he's just a bit of a weirdo, a bit of a live wire. I don't know what it is, but he
has a man bun, that's what it is.
Yeah, but I think he's crazy. I think I've watched some of his interviews before fights, and I'm like, dude, you're fucking nuts. You're wired to the moon. There's something different with you. And nothing would please me more to see Geoff Neal come out and just take his chin off. Really would. One of my favourite knockouts is the Al Hassan knockout where he started trading with an absolute killer in the he started trading, and the next thing he's like waking up looking at the lights, and the referee's kind of pulling him to the side. So but what he is, he's a gamer. He's a dogged fighter who doesn't really give up on himself, and he's got a really good belief in himself. When you look at the last fight with Tim Means, see, if I'm Tim Means watching that fight, I'm thinking, how the hell did I lose that in the first round, and so viciously as well? Because he came out, it was a little bit of a back and forward fight. Niko actually hit him with a really nice jab, it kind of stumbled Tim, but from there Tim was landing massive shots in close, at distance, but then he got absolutely shit whipped with a massive right hand. I think he smashed his ankle up as well. And Price can do that. He's got some power, and like I say, he never really gives up on himself. Live dog, you'll fight for your money. But I think he struggles against big athletic types like your Al Hassan. I think Geoff Neal is not as like superiorly athletic as what Al Hassan is, but I think he's very close. I think he's been very impressive in his UFC run. Subbed Camozzi, knocked out Frank Camacho with that absolutely devastating head kick, and then beating Bilal Muhammad like that so kind of convincingly as well shows that the guy's got a really good solid all-round game. Comes from a great camp at Fortis where Saif Sayoud is his head coach, and if you watch the Steven Peterson fight last week, see, if I was a fighter, that's the guy I would want in my corner. He ripped into Steven Peterson, and he was telling him everything he did wrong and what he wants him to do right, and gave him like great criticism and to try and get his fighter to win that fight. And he is one of the most underrated coaches in the whole entire sport. I've got Geoff Neal. Loads and loads and loads of people are on Niko Price here for the simple reason he's a big underdog. So people are betting him, but people, to be fair, when I look at the line, like I say, we'll get into the betting at the end of this, but when I look at the current line, where is it? Geoff Neal is minus 325 to plus 265 Niko Price, and like I say,
I can see why.
Yeah, Niko Price will fight for your money, and he's never really had a fight. That's what I'm saying. He's been in some bad positions. Even the Randy Brown fight, and he still finds a way to win the fight. So I can see why, but I just think these big athletic types he's going to struggle with. He did it with Al Hassan. I think he's going to do that with Geoff Neal. I think this Geoff Neal that's did a full camp, not working a side job, and has been in the gym constantly. That to me rings out a bad spell for Niko Price. So I've got Geoff Neal. I'm going to go knockout in the second. So yeah,
he's got some pop, Geoff. He has got some good pop in him. It's like a piston when he fires out. And I think the only reason Barriault didn't go down is because Barriault's got a head like a coffin nail. That dude is ridiculous. Co-main event, Cris Cyborg, bro, and a hell of a step up Felicia Spencer. Now, let's not forget the women's flyweight division in the UFC is about as deep as a 1-inch pool, but hell of a step up, Felicia. What are you seeing in this? It's the comeback fight for Cris Cyborg after getting murked against Nunes.
Yeah. Struggling to pick kind of Felicia Spencer here, if I'm being honest. For me, it'll be Cyborg. Will be my pick, but where Cyborg at? Who knows? That was maybe with all people that take the losses, big losses as well. Where's their head at? What has she really got left to prove? I think she wants to obviously get that belt back, get the rematch. She wins this fight, she's next in line. I think Nunes would happily fight her next because it's the biggest fight that she's got available to her. Felicia Spencer, I think, got the best kind of matchup she could get for a UFC debut with someone with no ground game. And let's be brutally honest here, Megan Anderson has got no ground game. But it looks like Spencer's got a little bit of a stand-up game, but she just barrels into the clinch and looks to take the fight to the ground. Where Cyborg, we know, has got a ground game. She works under Cobrinha, who's a legendary BJJ black belt. But if you watch the Yana Kunitskaya fight, Yana took her down. Yana's not got a top game like Felicia Spencer. If Felicia gets her down and gets heavy on her, then Cris might start to struggle a little bit. So I just don't see that happening. If it becomes a stand-up fight, then the more aggressive striker, the more powerful striker is Cris Cyborg. And eventually she's going to start kind of piecing someone like Felicia Spencer up, especially as Felicia's balling forward. She's going to get hit with some big counter shots. Interesting to see that Cris Cyborg went down to South Africa to do this camp with Don Madge. So she's got herself out of California, out of the kind of way of everything she's used to and training down there. It's just hard for me to pick Felicia Spencer in this spot, but if she gets her down and establishes or beats heavy down there, she's got an opportunity to maybe catch a submission, but I struggle to see it. I would never put money on Spencer in the spot. So I'm just going to sit back and watch Cris Cyborg, probably maybe piece her up a little bit, maybe knock her out, but I think I've maybe got Cyborg via a late stoppage, maybe a decision. So yeah, Cyborg for me.
Yeah, it's first time in a long time probably for Cyborg doing a 3-round fight.
Yeah.
That's one thing to think about. Her output could probably be greater than it would be for a 5-round fight, so that's something to I'll take into consideration. Felicia, I think, is some kind of judo background, I believe, off the top of my head, is it? I think she has, so that's what that's why she likes the clinch game, getting the leg sweeps. But yeah, Cyborg is a black belt, so, and she has got legit grappling kind of submission game on her. She just doesn't have to use it because she hits you with the cannons in her hands. I think Felicia's going to have a hard time in this one, kind of, because she's got to out-muscle Cyborg as well, and Cyborg's no slouch. She is a big 145er, strong as an ox. So I think Felicia, if she gets it to the ground, obviously Cyborg's going to offer way more on the ground than Megan Anderson can, because as we know, Megan Anderson, she's more of a social media girl than she is a potential perennial contender for any title soon. The only way she'll get a title fight is if Cyborg runs a contract down, which I believe it's not that many fights left, and goes to Bellator, back to Scotland. Yeah, it's one left, yeah. So maybe she doesn't do the rematch. Maybe she just goes off to Bellator.
Maybe.
They have got a better division, the featherweights. They've got more options. And Felicia Spencer, there's not really that many featherweights. It's a kind of weird division. Honestly, I'm a bit still perplexed about it, but I don't think Felicia's bad. I just think Cyborg's way more experienced, way more knowledgeable, been in way more positions than Felicia has in the MMA world in fighting, and got a hell of more experience. I think she can piece her up with the footwork and just land some powerful strikes. And like I said, it's a 3-round fight, so she can let more power off in the strikes. She doesn't have to pace herself for 5 rounds. In the clinch game, I think Felicia is going to have a tough time trying to out-muscle Cyborg. I think Cyborg's ridiculously powerful. And I think she'll be able to, if she does get bum rushed to the cage, I think Cyborg can turn it around on it. But I'm going Cyborg as well, mate. I think if she... Will she play it safe? No, I don't think she will, because I think Felicia's not really a knockout artist. I think Cyborg's going to go a bit crazy and go for swinging. I'll go finish for Cyborg as well. Maybe second, third round. Main event now. Gosh, suppose so, these two. Suppose I'll have to watch them fight. Max Holloway defending his featherweight title against Frankie Edgar. Frankie getting his 700th title fight. It's a bit like Uriah Faber, isn't it? This guy. Well, I've got to be honest with you. I'm so heavy on Max Holloway, it's disgusting. Now, don't get me wrong. Frankie is a legend in the sport. He's a beast. You're never going to be let down by Frankie. He's always going to put a good output. He's always going to put a good effort in. He's always going to have his nose bleeding. It's just what he does. When I watched the Brian Ortega fight, there was a size disparity. And you could see it. Ortega was bigger, longer, and Max was, I believe, taller than Ortega, and Holloway's bigger. I think Holloway's quicker with the hands than Ortega, and Ortega was landing some good shots. Frankie's quick with his footwork. He's quicker getting in and out. Man, I just think Holloway's going to be able to just own the cage, be very aggressive coming forward, and just land those shots that he lands, man. And again, I think Frankie can keep the output, but let's go back to the Jose Aldo fight at UFC 200 when they fought. And Jose Aldo just, look what he did to Frankie, man. He just pieced his face up. Pieced him up. I would look at that. If I'm studying the tape, I'd be studying that. Do I take much out of the Cub Swanson fight that Frankie won? Not really. You know, beating Cub Swanson these days isn't a big whip, a big win on your court, on you, especially you'd already done it. I wasn't overly keen on it. I didn't think there was much about it. I wasn't overly fussed. I just find, I don't know where Frankie's going to win the fight. You know, he got hit pretty good by Ortega. I think Holloway can do just the same. I think Holloway could put Frankie away. I think Holloway could land the strikes a bit harder and land them on Frankie. How's Frankie's chin doing? You know, after all those years of rounds of fights and getting rocked and dropped, and it does come to a point where the chin stops being your best friend. And that's one big question mark I have on it. You know, I think that Frankie's going to try and be elusive. He's going to be trying to come in and get the strikes on. But it's just and Frankie's got to take down. He's got to take the fight to the ground. He's got to be trying to wrestle and get on top of Max. I just think Max has got actually not a bad defense. I think he's not got a bad defense on the takedowns, but he's quite calm. But if he gets taken down, he's very good at getting up quick. He's very good at posture on your head and getting at least one leg free to stand up, and that's all he needs. And then you're fighting a battle you're going to lose. You can't finish it off. And I think that's one thing about Max Holloway I like. He's good at getting up when he's down. As soon as his ass bounces on that ground, he's working his way up. And with Frankie, I'm not saying he won't get a takedown. He will get a takedown, but will he keep Max down? I don't believe so. Will he get lit up by Max? I think he will. The Yari Rodriguez fight is a fight where Yari was bigger than Frankie, but the Frankie got him down, was able to just beat him with wrestling. Yari didn't know what to do when he was on his back. He just looked like a lost puppy. Max Holloway's not like that. Max Holloway's more skilled, he's more knowledgeable, he's better on the feet to get out there. I think Max would even get into that position. I think he'd be up and out before it's even started. I think conditioning-wise, Max is up there with Frankie as well. I just think the hands from Frankie are just going to be a big part of this. I think he's going to land the strikes on Frankie, bust up Frankie Edgar, and he's going to take the title again. I just can't see him losing to Frankie Edgar in 2019.
Yeah, this is a couple of things here that I'm wondering why Max has come back so quick after that fight with Horie, because that was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So, and I know he survived that fight, but what he did is he took a lot of big, powerful punches in that fight. He took some damage, so he's jumping in here relatively quick again. So I'm a wee bit kind of not sure about that. But Holloway is an absolute beast. Like, he is a beast, and he's in his prime right now. I still think that. Apologise, my dog's actually having a drink in the back there and being super loud and doing that, just in case you can hear it. But yeah, when you look at like especially his championship fights, like you obviously you've seen his fights coming through with Oliveira and Stevens and Lamas, where he just like completely beat guys up. But then now when he's entered the championship fights, your Pettis, your Aldos, your Ortega fights, even the Poirier fight, I think he had a good shout at winning that fight. I really do. I think the scorecards I think should have been maybe a little bit closer, if not in maybe Max's favour. That was my initial thoughts when I was watching the fight. Still think it could have went either way, but I'm happy that Poirier got it because Poirier's a great guy and he deserved to get championship gold. But I still think that Holloway will move up, and he will, once he puts on the right mass for that division, I think he will be a champion in that division one day. That's my opinion. But yeah, if you haven't watched also Beyond the Octagon with John Gooden and Dan Hardy like nails it in so many aspects in this. With like Max Holloway really hasn't faced an all around top fighter like this who puts everything together very, very seamlessly. Where from your wrestling to your striking to your jiu-jitsu, he's very fluid in every aspect of the game there and very dangerous. And he's one of those fighters, if he can pin you to the ground like he did against Rodriguez, you'll not go up from this guy, I don't think. But I think Holloway's a different beast than what Yair Rodriguez is, 100%. And he's scarier with his jiu-jitsu than what Rodriguez is, and so on and so on. Like I say, go watch Beyond the Octagon with Dan and John, because it's a really, what they talk about is fantastic in that fight there. But like I say with every Max Holloway fight, like legendary output, and the guy's got a great skill of reading what fighters are going to do, making adjustments during the fight, and then once he knows what your patterns are going to be, he goes for you and he goes for the jugular. Did that with Ortega, where he was actually telling Ortega in the fight like still not how to defend while this guy's throwing a punch. It's crazy. Ortega got that guy down 2 times in that fight, bumped straight back to his feet, was not there for a nanosecond, was back up as soon as you could put him down pretty much. And then back on the feet, you just can't live with the pace of this guy. You cannot, once he's in his flow, even in the Poirier fight, he was dusting Poirier in exchanges. But like I say, once he puts on that right amount of muscle mass, he'll probably start to hurt guys at 155 a lot hard. At 145, he's really hurting guys down there. He's folding Aldo up. He's like bludgeoning Ortega to death, where we've not seen Ortega since then, and rightfully so. He's taking the right amount of time off to heal himself up and get back. Ortega's he's going to have another opportunity at that belt one day and probably have the
Korean Zombie they're talking about, Ortega and Zombie?
I think it's that, or Yair Rodriguez, I think, so, in Mexico.
All two of them fights are disgustingly delicious.
Yeah, they're great fights. But for me, I think that Frankie's at a speed disadvantage. He's at a durability disadvantage. I think he's at an output disadvantage as well. Respecting could give Max problems through that. But I think once Max finds his feet and he starts finding where Frankie's coming from, Frankie to me has always been a guy that if you hit him with a big shot, you can put him down. Ortega obviously put him down. That was a beautiful, beautiful shot there. Gavin Maynard back in the day. If Max hurts him, he's not going to back off like Gavin Maynard did and give him opportunity to survive that fight. So for me, I've got Max Holloway. I've got him to once he realizes what Frankie's going to do, and maybe he can stop Frankie from doing, then he's going to stop this fight and win via TKO. So I've got Max Holloway rounds 3, 4, or 5 via knockout.
Nice, bro. And now we're going to go over to the betting side of things. First question I want to ask Will before you talk about what bets you've done is, what are the lines for example, the Arman and Mercier fight? All
right, so interesting. This, like, Tsarukyan was up at -275. Oh no, it wasn't as high as that. Maybe -250, -260 in that range. 265, that was it. I remember now. He was up -265, but the money has been coming in on Olivier Aubin-Mercier, to the simple fact that he's went down from 265 to -185.
Well, that's quite a big jump.
That's a big jump, yeah. So people are throwing decent money in Aubin-Mercier to win this fight, which is a surprise to me. But like I say, I've maybe got the goggles on where I only think one guy's really going to win this fight. So yeah, that line, if it keeps on coming down, I'm going to bet Tsarukyan regardless this fight card, whether I have to parlay him or I unloading him big time but I maybe have to rein myself back. If the line keeps coming down, then I'll not put as much on as I initially thought. Tsarukyan I love in this spot, and that could bite me in the ass, but it is what it is. Other lines in the card which are interesting, like I say, Geoff Neal and Niko Price is a big underdog, so people are going to take shots on him there. For me, my two bets I've got so far, I've got Seung Choi, who he was as high, I think, as plus 150 in the UK here last week, but I never watched any fights of his, and I caught him after that, at plus 140, where his lines moved down to plus 115. So money's coming in on him over Gavin Tucker. So that fight could be a pick 'em by fight time, maybe a lean to Choi by fight time, who knows. The other bet that I had was Pantoja, where the lines kind of flipped in that one a little bit. The line was as high as plus 125, I think. I got him at plus 110. Now he's minus 120. So money's coming in him, where Deiveson is now the underdog. So, but it's still a closely run fight.
Yeah.
Just looking at a couple of other ones there, you've got Gillian Robertson minus 140. Sarah Frota's plus 120, so money's coming in on Frota because that was a higher line as well. Eric Koch's an underdog, plus 100, minus 120 Kyle Stewart, but that was actually higher. I've seen Koch at like plus 120 at one spot as well, so money's coming in on Eric Koch. But like I say, it's only Monday, so we've got a big jump ahead till the end of the week. If you look at the top there, Frankie Edgar plus 325, minus 400 for Max. But money's been coming in a little bit. It's been coming in on Frankie Edgar, so that line's pushing down a little bit. But yeah.
What's Cyborg?
Cyborg's minus 60. Big favourite. I'd be surprised if that's not higher by fight time, but who knows? Yeah. But for me, there's spots for maybe a parlay of like Dawodu and Viviane Araujo maybe in that one. But for me, I think I'm going to have a couple of underdog bets and maybe a parlay if I can find one that I really, really like that jumps out at me.
What about Alexis and Viviane?
Alexis is plus 210, Viviane is minus 250, but I think Viviane is actually a little bit lower over here in the UK. I think she's minus 225, I want to say. So, the line is definitely a little bit, it's better over here than it is in America. That could easily go the other way, and Viviane could get shot up a little bit to being a bigger favourite in that one. But yeah, if there's dogs you're picking here, you've got some decent odds, and they're changing all the time. There's a lot of money coming in this card. Pay-per-view cards, usually that shows through that more kind of people bet on the pay-per-view side of things. So, like I say, Pantoja I'm on, Seung Choi I'm on, Tsarukyan I'm going to be on in some spot in this fight card. I might look at Max Holloway via knockout. That's something I might very, very easily look at and hopefully get decent odds on. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with the betting this week. But like I say, if you've got anything that you spot, put in the comments below, and we'll get back to you on that. But yeah, I think there's some decent bets to be made this weekend if you can find the right plays.
Nice, bro. Nice, and like Will said, yeah, I'd love to hear what you've got as well going on there on your bets and parlays. Even if it's a combination of this card and next week's card, etc. Stick them on there because that's something we'd like to talk about and do as well. Yeah, I've not put anything on myself, bro, but I'm very cautious now, trying to pick the right spots and get the right amount of dollar bills in. But ladies and gentlemen, that is this week's picks and the bets. Again, hit the sub button. Feel free to comment below, join in the conversation. As always, it's been a pleasure, and we'll be back again next week because it doesn't stop well with Colby Covington against Robbie Lawler next week. We've also got on that card an old school fight, Jim Miller against Clay Guida. Stozic against Kennedy. Woo. And a ton of other fights, so that'll be an interesting card. So join us all for that, and until then, thank you, and we'll speak soon.